In this video, I'm going to show you how to easily arrange pop chords to make playing easier on the piano as a complete beginner. And if you watch until the end, I will make sure to give you a very, very special surprise. So if you are a complete beginner to the piano, there are a few things you need to know. You need to know about fingerings, you need to know about the names of the keys, and you need to know about what chords are. So first things first, in piano, the fingers have numbers. Thumb is number 1, then it goes 2, 3, 4, 5. And for the left hand, it's the same. Thumb is number 1, and it goes 2, 3, 4, and 5. The other thing is the names of the keys, at least for the white keys for this example. C is the white key to the left of the 2 black keys. And then it goes D, E, F, G, and then A and B and C. So C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, and then the cycle just repeats itself. So the piano is just, the same 7 white keys and the same 5 black keys over and over. So that's pretty straightforward. And also, when we talk about chords, right, we have, chords are usually just 3 or more notes that are played at the same time. So you can have 3-note chords, you can have 4-note chords, and if you're into jazz, you can have 5-note chords, and it kind of just gets a little weird from there, but we're not going to go into all of that. We're only going to focus on pop music, which only uses 3-note chords called triads. So triads referring to a chord that only has 3 keys, right? And so, with that said, there are different types of triads. There are major triads, minor triads. I'm not going to get too deep into that for today's video, but what I will show you is a combination of being able to play from one chord to another in a song. So that's called a chord progression. But we're going to arrange it in a way where it will be easier to play if you find yourself working with chords, especially if you're writing music. So when you're dealing with a triad, right, there are 3 types of notes. There's a root, a third, and a fifth. So if we are dealing with what is called a C triad, it could be C major, C minor. That means that C is the root, and the other 2 notes are the third and the fifth. So if we're dealing with a C major triad, C is the root, E is the third, and G is the fifth. Why are they called the third and the fifth? We're talking about intervals, or the distance between 2 keys. So the reason why E is called the third is because it's 3 keys away from C, including C and E themselves. So 1, 2, 3, thus the third. And then G is the fifth for the same reason. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 keys from the root, which is C. Right? And if I was to have a D chord or a D triad, same thing happens. D is the root, and then F is the third, and A is the fifth, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so on and so forth. Now, when we're talking about arranging and inverting and things of that nature, and let's say if we were to use, actually I'll get into that in a second. This is important to know, is that if you have a triad, again you have a root, third, and a fifth, but what makes the triad is whatever the specific 3 notes are that belong to that triad. So if we are dealing with a C major triad, the C major triad has specifically C, E, and G. No other notes, no less notes, it's those 3 keys. So why is this important to know, right? Because you can play these 3 notes 2 other ways, or, in terms of inversions, right? So I could have C, which is the root, at the bottom, E in the middle, and G at the top. That's one way to play it, which is called root position, right? Now, I could play another way where I could take C and I could bring it to the top. C is still the root, and we still have E and G. It's still a C major triad because it has specifically C, E, and G. I just changed the order in which the notes are played, but now I have this sound, right? This is called first inversion, where the root is at the top of the chord. Still the same chord, still the same 3 notes, just rearranged. Another way that I could play this exact same chord is I could take E and bring that to the top. So now G is at the bottom, C, which is still the root, is now in the middle, and E is now at the top. So now I have what is called second inversion, C major triad, right? And if I were to bring G back up, that would just bring me back to the original C, E, and G root position, right? So my point is, you can take the same triad and play it 3 different ways, and it still be the same triad as long as you're using the same 3 notes to build that triad. Another thing that you can do is you can always add a left hand, and the left hand in most cases, if you're dealing with pop music, the left hand is going to play the root of whatever the chord is that I'm playing. So if I'm playing a C major triad here, I would play the bass here, which would be C, which is the root. And it gives it a fuller sound. So I'm going to go into a common chord progression that's used in pop music, but before I get into that, I do want to bring to your attention that I do have a free piano in 3 steps video. If you are a complete beginner and want to start getting your foot in the door with learning piano, that video is going to help you from naming the keys up to playing both hands together. That video is free. You can sign up for it in the link in the description box. So make sure that you do that before you leave this particular video. So here we have a common chord progression, and I'm going to just give you the chords themselves. So let's say we have a C chord, which is C, E, G. The next chord would be a G chord or a G major triad, which has G, B, and D in it. The next chord we will deal with is the A minor triad, which just has A, C, and E in it. And the last chord we're going to deal with is going to be the F triad, F, A, C. So think of it like this: C chord, C, skip, skip, G, skip, skip, A, and then skip, skip, and then F, skip, skip. A lot of songs use this chord progression, namely, let's go with Maroon 5's Girls Like You. 'Cause girls like you run around with guys like me to sundown. When I come through, I need a girl like you, yeah, yeah. Even John Legend's All of Me uses this same chord progression, right? So it goes like this. I'm sorry, that was wrong. So watch this. What would I do without your smart mouth? Drawing me into you, kicking me out. Got my head spinning. So it's a very, very, very common chord progression in pop music. But the inconvenience of this is having to jump around to all these different chords. So what we're going to do is we're going to arrange it in a way where we're going to use inversions to be able to play a little bit easier. So let's say we're going to start with the C chord, right, C, E, G, and we'll play it in root position where C is at the bottom, E is in the middle, and G is at the top. And we can just play the C on the left hand. As a matter of fact, we'll make it easy. We'll just focus on the right hand for now. Now, there's 2 options. I can either go from C and then jump all the way down to G, or I could play C where it is and invert the G chord to bring it closer to where I am. So as I mentioned, here's how we do this. So the next chord has the notes G, B, and D, right? The good news is I'm already playing G with my pinky, so I only have to worry about the remaining notes, which are B and D. What I could do is I could just take my thumb to play B, and I could just use my 2 fingers to play D. And that gives me the next chord, the G, B, D, but in first inversion where G is being played at the top. So instead of me having to jump around like this, I could just go like that. The next chord is going to be the A triad, which has A, C, and E, right? But instead of me having to, rearrange my fingers like a pretzel, all I have to do is just also invert the A, C, and E. So all I gotta do is just play A at the top where my pinky is. My 2 finger can come over to E, and my thumb can come over to C, and I have an A triad, but in first inversion where the A is being played up here, right? And then for the final chord, which is the F-A-C chord, right? Instead of me having to jump all the way down here, the good news is between the chord that I'm playing now, which is the A chord, A-C-E, there are 2 notes that already belong to the next note that I'm about to play. I'm already playing C here, and I'm already playing A here. So all I have to do is just let go of E and just play F. And I have my F-A-C chord in second inversion, where the root is in the middle. And I have F here, A here, and C here. And I can just go back to the beginning to play my C major in root position. So now I have C, E, G, B, D, G, C, E, A, and then C, F, A. So that's how you can use inversions to arrange the different types of chords that you're going through when it comes to pop music. So I did mention I was going to give you guys a surprise video. I do have a video where I go over a common chord progression that happens in pop music for songs that are in minor keys. So this example was in a major key, right, which sounds happy, right? But there are songs that are in a minor key. Right? Sounds sad and gloomy. I go over that chord progression. I provide a link in the top right corner of this video. If this tutorial was helpful, please feel free to not only subscribe, but also turn on the notification bell, because that will be the thing that actually notifies you when I release a new video each week. Just subscribing will not do that. You have to turn on the bell. And also hit the like button because it helps my videos get more views. And also share it. And if you have any questions, feel free to put the questions in the comment section. I'll be more than happy to answer them from there. So thank you for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the next lecture. Take care.